Hey folks, I'm back again for another video. Yes, I said give me ideas for videos, and if any of you guys did out there, either through Facebook or YouTube, I'll take your ideas and come up with a video about whatever you guys had said. But right now, this video is an idea that I just thought of for myself. When I was in school, a lot of people have or had asked me what I had taken up, and I said number one was space, boom boom, corny joke, and the other thing I would tell them is film. And they go like taking pictures, film, photography. I go no, like film, as in movies, things like that. And they go like, what would you say? They said one thing I studied about was the production part of film, as in, you know, writing a script, casting actors, directing, shooting, producing, editing, all that fun stuff. But the other part of it that I had studied was film studies, which is the history of film and how it's changed from like the late 1800s with people like George Méliès doing his movie Trip to the Moon, which was a very old film done in black and white, because most of the original films that were done in black and white, not in color, because color didn't come along until much later, and they really didn't have any sound either, which came along later as well, along with the color, but well before color. And like I said, we studied about, you know, George Méliès and his film Trip to the Moon, which showed about how a guy who was kind of like a magician flew his way to the moon and got to see what life on the moon was like, and how guys like Lumiere brothers and Thomas Edison kind of used their versions of like video cameras, not video cameras, you say, like the cameras that movies are made with, and how their movies were one-reel cameras that could have went anywhere from 30 seconds to like 5-6 minutes, whatnot, and it could have been about anything like people leaving their job, people going to the circus, a person feeding their baby, things like that. And it was interesting to learn about that, but as it moved on, film became even more interesting, and eventually they did the silent films with guys like Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, whatnot, and all that good stuff, and which was cool because you got to like use your imagination of what the people might have been saying if they didn't put in the caption slides, and how they did the editing and all that stuff, which was editing. They would cut like the strips of film apart and literally tape them back together and do their films that way. And then eventually, as time moves on, you know, they eventually started using some color, which would be done by hand painting or drawing the color in with like watercolors, markers, crayon, colored pencils, stuff like that, which was cool to see that done, and how eventually they started using sound, and how the trouble with getting sound to be used was, and how they had to try to mic people and have mics around the set, and how most of the movies at that time came from like vaudeville stage acts, which was interesting. And then as that goes on, things become more technical, and like The Wizard of Oz going from black and white to like the sepia brown colored tone to eventually bright colors, and how each film became better and better as it went along. And like the two biggest films of the 30s, late 30s, 39, were Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz, which showed the great progression in film from like 1890s to the 1940s, so like a 60-year time period and whatnot. And then eventually you had films like Citizen Kane done all in black and white, which showed the story of Charles Foster Kane, played by Orson Welles, who also wrote, directed, and pretty much produced that film with his own money out of his pocket and whatnot. So, and then you notice throughout time certain directors cast certain people. Like if you move forward ahead about another like 20, 30 years to like the 60s and 70s, you have people like Scorsese, who use a lot of the same people like De Niro, Pacino, Pesci, Harvey Keitel in their movies, and how they'll use the same people so that way they don't have to worry about recasting different people every movie, but they might have to recast certain, or I shouldn't say recast, but cast other people to play the roles. And then you saw that more as it moved along later on into like the 80s and 90s with Quentin Tarantino casting guys over and over again like Harvey Keitel and Bruce Willis and stuff like that. And then in the 90s with one of my favorite directors of the 90s, Kevin Smith, who would constantly cast himself in his movies, Silent Bob, Jason Mewes as Jay, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, who else? Because I think it was Joey Lauren Adams, whatnot. So times have changed through that, and then now with the movies we've had today, this is more of quote-unquote blockbuster films as opposed to, you know, what was done over 100 years before, because now there's more technology to be used, like special shots and whatnot, and all that other cool stuff. So, sorry about that pause, just waving at my cousin. Huh? Yes, I'm doing a video about film.
What film?
Just in general.
Alright,
so say hi to the camera for the video.
Hi!
Tell me something. I'm going to put this on YouTube, so tell me a little something you know about films or something you like about the movies.
The details, how it's set up and everything.
Like lighting, editing, acting, all that good stuff?
All the above.
Alright, thanks.
Alright.
Which is what I was going to get to next, so see, that question led into what I was going to do. So I totally helped out, thank you.
Welcome. Alright.
Alright, see ya. And as me and my cousin were saying, like, lighting also helps tell a story of how a character may be lit, not lit, how much lighting is used. Lighting can also tell a story by what the character says, how they move, how they don't move, what they're like when they say something, how things like that happen, which is pretty cool because that's also a great part to telling the story, so stuff like that, and which makes a good part to the movie, because if there's good character development and lighting and writing and editing and acting and all that good junk, you get to see how a good story is told. Some movies that I think may be good and have good storytelling and directing and acting might be good, I might think are good, but somebody else might think I'm nuts and talking about my opinions are different, so everybody else will say that that's okay, because nobody can like everything that everybody else likes and all that other cool fun stuff. So that's pretty much about it, as I am on my way home around the block from where I live. So, and I'm going to crack 10 minutes on this video, which would be cool because I didn't think I would. So But again, what you think about film, tell me some of your favorite parts, whether it be characters, story, writing, directing, editing, styles like that, lighting, low-key, high-key, editing, all that fun stuff. So tell me what you think and what I should have put in here, what I should have left out, maybe what I should have talked about a little bit more. So that's about it for now, and enjoy the video, and video number 102, I believe, on the list of videos. So, in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, hasta la vista. Again, hasta la vista, folks, just leaving back there to my cousin. So that's about it. So hopefully I'll get some comments, and I'll get to see what people think, how they feel, whatnot. So throw your ideas at me, rate, hate, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave me a comment or two or three or whatnot. Tell me video too long, too short, should have been more, should have been less, whatever. So that's my video on film, and peace out.